Randy and Marisa here with your Essential Italy. Take two, unfortunately. It happens. So we decided today, because it's 50 degrees outside and it's 9:45 in the morning here, that we would head down to the beach and shoot the video here. But I forgot my tripod, so it's gonna be fine.
It's okay.
But it's okay. We make it work. I misheard Marisa. I didn't hear her say the beach, and I thought mountain trail, and we were gonna walk along the mountain in my handheld, Anyway, it is what it is. We're good to go. Beautiful day today. The high's 58. Yeah, I'll be jealous if you're in a really cold part of the world.
Sorry.
Sorry. It's gorgeous. It's a gorgeous day today. So it's gonna be. Okay, on the home front, we're still set to close on Wednesday on the house, but there is an issue with the final contract. Some things that they left out that our lawyer caught, and they have to fix
They're trying to
before
resolve.
we can close.
Yeah.
So they got days to close it. They have to fix it though.
Well, we'll see.
We'll see.
Fingers crossed.
We have walkthrough on Tuesday, so we're gonna go do that.
We're meeting with the geometer on Monday to look
Yep.
at the plans that they've made for us
Yep.
for the bottom floor where we will be living. And then, we have ordered the flooring. We have to go pick up paint. So
Right.
next week is going to be quite busy.
Next week's crazy.
Yeah.
I'll try to film as much as I can.
Yeah.
Some of it's like this last week I didn't film because it was just mainly phone calls.
Yeah.
You call this guy, hey, fence guy, can you
Well,
come
yeah,
over?
I mean,
that
and honestly,
type of
until
stuff.
we
So,
actually have the keys in hand, I
Yeah.
can't meet with anybody.
can't really do anything.
So if we're not closing on Wednesday, I can't really schedule the gardener to come out and for the fencing and the guy to come fix the electric gate and all of that stuff.
Right.
So we are a little bit in limbo right now. But I have a calendar spread out with everything that we're going to be doing for the next 2 weeks, and hopefully nothing's going to get pushed out too far, because we really want to get on and move into the new house. We're kind of done here.
Well, we love Toro.
It's
there's
beautiful.
Nothing wrong with
but
Toro at all.
It's just up and down the hill.
up and down that mountain on that road it's
taking the toll.
It has taken a toll. Taking a toll on us physically, emotionally. You just don't.
Yeah.
You brace yourself to go anywhere you don't want to go.
Yeah.
I'm sure it's not good for the car.
Yeah.
Because it's a brutal road.
Yeah,
So
it's pretty bad.
2.5 kilometers of kidney beater. It's not
Yeah.
not fun at
right.
all. All right. So we decided today what we would talk about are the things that we did right when we moved, the things we think we did right anyway, and the things maybe we would have done a little different.
Yeah.
As well as maybe a couple of the things that we really love about this area in particular, about Italy, and maybe some of the things that we are not so pleasant.
Well,
because you get the good and
you
bad.
you got the
all
good
around.
and bad everywhere. So
It was start off with the things we think we did right.
well, multiple visits to the area that we wanted to focus on. We came upon this area by chance on a train ride from Florence to Perugia. Randy's like, what is that? I said, that's Lago Trasimeno. He's like, oh my God, that's beautiful. We didn't get a chance to visit it then. That was in 2022.
2022, yeah.
But then when we came back in the spring of 2023, we made it a point to find a farm stay in this area. And we actually became really good friends with the owner of the farm stay. And, we started to build our network of connections here. And then we kept coming back.
Yeah.
We've been back like 3 times after that.
Three times since then, yeah.
Yeah, and then this is it. This is the place we want to be.
Yeah.
So we recommend that. We recommend that if you come and visit and you're focusing on an area, we didn't consider Tuscany. We said right from the start Umbria because it's kind of undiscovered, and plus it has this beautiful lake.
Yeah.
So which is a tourist attraction.
Yeah.
So we figured this would be the place for us. But if you pick an area,
Yeah.
pick it and go back.
Go back multiple times throughout different seasons too. We were here in September and May and August and November. We've been here all different times, so we kind of knew what was going on
Right.
in terms of crowds, the weather, things like that, traffic,
Yeah.
all of that. We've not been here in August. This is the high season here is August.
July and August
July
for
and
sure.
August.
Yeah.
but you know, we'll deal with that.
We'll see.
We'll cross
Yeah.
that bridge when
Yeah.
it comes. And the house we bought obviously is casa vacanza. We want to be in a touristy area.
Yeah.
Because we want to rent it. We want to rent it
Yeah,
out.
the whole apartment gets rented
yeah.
out for people to come stay weeks at
Yeah.
a time, you know,
Yeah.
and there's plenty of parking. It's close to all the major attractions.
Right.
So you kind of like set it up as your home, you know.
Right.
That's what we're trying to make it feel like.
Yeah, make it
once
feel
we're
like a
in.
home. You come in. Hopefully, we can rent it 45 weeks a year. We'll see what happens. I may be optimistic.
Yeah. No.
We'll see.
It's a beautiful area.
It is beautiful.
To be in.
It's very peaceful. We've said this. I've said this in other videos. If you're a writer or if you just want tranquility, yeah, book it with
Anytime
us.
of any kind of artist,
yeah, it's gonna
photographer,
yeah.
painter, there's plenty of places where you can just set
Yeah,
up your
absolutely.
easel
Yeah.
and paint. And
Yeah.
you know, we're planning on doing yoga in the Olive Grove. So all of these things hopefully will come to fruition once we're in there.
Once we get in and get it
Yeah.
all going, this time
Yeah.
next year for sure we'll
Yeah.
have, you know,
Yeah.
maybe before this time next year. We'll see.
Yeah.
All
And
right.
then the other thing is, you know, once you figure out on an area, try to build a network of friends
Yep.
and connections. That's very important. You know, we have from the owner of the agriturismo, the farm stay, now we've branched out to so many other people.
Some of her
And even
staff,
when we-
we
yeah.
made friends with random people we meet in the
Yeah.
grocery store or waiting for a doctor. We
Yes.
meet them. We get invited to lunch or whatever.
Yeah,
and-
I mean, it's just put
yeah.
yourself out there. This is what
Yeah,
I'm
yeah,
saying. Whether you speak Italian or not,
Yeah.
just put yourself out there. And people are very open to
They are very friendly here.
friendly, open, and gracious, and ready to help. I mean, we went to a store and I said, "Can you recommend an electrician?" He gave me 3 numbers,
Yeah.
3 people that I can contact. You know, so that's how you do it. That's how you build your connections.
All right. Other things we did right. We hired a lawyer to help us buy our house, and she's also helped with my permesso di soggiorno paperwork. She made sure everything was correct the first time, and the only thing that we have to present when we go in is my tax returns for this last year, which are not done yet.
Yeah,
So,
and the paperwork for the residency,
and the
which once
paperwork
we
for
have
the residency,
house,
which so because
Yeah.
everything else was fine, and
Yeah.
so that makes it easier.
Mm-hmm.
You can do those on your own, but I've heard some nightmare stories about you going back and forth, and you know, and these appointments are not easy to get. So
And the other thing you need to keep in mind is every questura, which is the police station, handles things differently.
in each region.
in each
Yeah.
region, in each area. I mean, in each neighborhood. I mean,
Yeah.
we follow some other folks on YouTube that have gone through the process, and their process was completely different than what
Right.
we're going through. So, it's interesting.
Yeah.
It really is.
Brace yourself for
yeah.
it.
Yeah. Just arm yourself with a lot of patience. But definitely, if you have no idea what's going on, try to find a lawyer to walk you through the steps so that you don't miss on anything. You don't screw up on anything and delay it even further.
Yeah, or send us a message and we'll get you the information for the lawyer we use. She speaks
Yeah.
English, so
Fluently.
Fluent,
So,
yeah, it's great.
she has dual citizenship
Yeah.
as well. So, yeah,
very, very good. Her and her
Yeah.
husband worked their butts off for you. So.
absolutely.
All right. The other thing we did right, we paid a company to bring our dogs over. I know it's different for everybody.
Yeah.
If you don't have dogs, obviously it doesn't apply to you. We have 3 dogs. You've seen them, I'm sure, on the videos. We have a German Shepherd, we have a Border Collie, and we have a Pomeranian mix. Yeah, absolutely. You can stick the dogs on a plane and you can have them flown over, but you know, you got to think about the logistics of how do I get the dogs from the airport with their crates
Yeah.
to the house? How do I get the dogs from my house to the airport in the crates?
Right.
All of that. So we hired a company to do this for us, door to door. Really nice guy came, picked up the dogs like 5:30 in the morning, loaded them up in the back of his big van with their crates. He was a veteran. He'd been training dogs most of his adult life, was very, very good with the dogs. Went and stayed the night with the dogs actually on the way to Atlanta
Yeah.
because it was all during a hurricane and all that nonsense was going on. We were trying to leave. dogs get flown to Germany. They stay overnight in Germany. They see the vet. There's people constantly playing with the dogs, taking them out for walks, petting them, loving them, feeding them, watering them, all of that
Sending us
stuff, and sending us
pictures.
videos and pictures of it the whole time. And then on the day they're supposed to, the dogs show up at the house, and we get out. They're safe. They're happy. They're like, "Oh, mommy's here. It's
Yeah,
great."
we were concerned
So,
with our German Shepherd because she
Yeah.
has a lot of anxiety,
yeah,
PTSD, anxiety. I mean, she's been through a lot,
Yeah.
abandoned. I'm sure she's been,
probably.
abused.
She was a
I don't know.
rescue. So,
She's a rescue.
oh,
So
you don't
we
know
were
what they go
really,
through.
really concerned about our Luna, and but she did
did
fantastic.
great. They all did great. It really did. And there's no.
No amount of money spent would
Yeah.
have. I mean, honestly, and it was quite a bit.
It was a lot.
It was a
We
lot,
spent
but-
$12,000 US to bring 3 dogs over.
But it was worth every
but it was
penny
worth it
to see
because,
those babies
yeah,
come to me
They're our
safe
babies,
and sound.
and you want to make sure they get here.
Yeah.
If you've got the money to do it, and if we would have had the money, we would have rented a private air flight.
Yeah.
It's $100,000 or so,
Yeah.
and they bring you and your dogs over all in
Yeah.
the cabin.
Yeah.
That would have
Yeah.
been great.
And,
No crates needed, any of that.
And
so.
I keep saying this: we're buying a house for our dogs,
are,
not for
yeah,
us. So with lots of space for them and everything. So anyway,
All right.
whatever. We're crazy.
The other thing we did correctly, I think, is we used a company called Send My Bag to ship boxes of our sentimental stuff, of our clothes, of all the stuff that we thought we wanted, or that we that
we couldn't part with.
We couldn't part with,
Yeah.
basically, but that we couldn't also fit in the suitcases on the flights over.
Right.
So. Because you got to look at your stuff and see, and like, okay,
Yeah.
do I need this? Am I going to use this? And all of that. So Send My Bag was great. It's very affordable. We sent over a dozen big boxes, heavy boxes. They were 80 kilos. I mean, they're heavy. And it was about $3,000 to ship all of them. So not too
a
bad.
lot.
Not a lot of money at all. So
I think that the good thing that we also did is that before we came here, we did say, okay, let's give ourselves a year to settle down.
yeah,
For me, finding a job, but the priority was getting here, finding a house, settling down, and then getting started with our lives, whether it's having the vacation home to rent out, me finding a job. But we've given ourselves a year. Right now we're 6 months in.
we're 4.5 months in, so you're
Feels
5
like,
months.
It feels like a year.
I know it does. Well, when you do it this way, because I have family ask me about it too. I'm a mental health counselor by trade. You guys may or may not know that. So I teach my clients mindfulness, and you stay in the moment. And when you're in the moment, time slows down. So it absolutely feels like we've been here like a year and a half.
Yeah.
I just no kidding around about it. 4.5 months. It feels
Yeah.
like a year and a half. So we, I think that's a benefit of being here. You get to slow down, but you have to
Yeah.
budget for the year and make sure that that's all accounted for.
Right,
So,
right. Because things do go slower here.
Yeah.
And then we'll get to it.
yeah,
Because, for example, doctor's appointments. It takes a long time to get a doctor's
Yeah.
appointment. I mean, it's
Yeah.
socialized
Yeah.
healthcare, so you have to factor all of that in, and so keep that in mind. Slow down. It is what it is.
Yeah.
Enjoy it. While you wait, kind of thing.
Sure. You have to have that mindset of
Yeah.
I'm still in a beautiful place. I'm in a country that a lot of people are jealous because they're not here.
Right.
I'm eating food that is just stupid good, as you heard me
Yeah.
say in other videos, and
It's healthier.
healthier and all of that. But it's one of those things where you just don't. If you dwell on the negative, you become negative. So
Yeah.
you focus on the good and say, hey, it's a
Yeah.
beautiful day. It's
Yeah.
February 23rd. Look,
I mean-
it's sunny skies. It's 50 degrees. It's
But
beautiful.
the thing is we're so used, when we live in the States, we're so used to efficiency and
Yeah.
everything turn around, and you're
Yeah.
impatient and you got to get that stuff done yesterday.
Yeah.
Well,
But
not everything needs to get done yesterday. If
And
you
that-
want it done it right, it might take a little bit longer.
and
kind of thing.
that attitude wears on us phically and emotionally.
Yeah.
So that's why I have a steady stream of clients. It's just like
Yeah.
because
Yeah.
you get in that hustle and bustle of U.S. societal life, of go 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 go, and nah,
Yeah.
it's put you in an early grave. Anyway,
The other
the
thing
other
we
thing,
did right for Randy in this case, because I'm an Italian citizen, I don't have that problem, is get him the Codice Fiscale, which is your social security number basically, and the Tessera Sanitaria, which is your medical card. That allowed him to start seeing the doctors, because you just have to start seeing doctors to get onto
right,
their program, their what do you call it, your scripts and all of
right,
that.
prescriptions,
So
yeah.
that's the first thing we did. Even though he doesn't have his permesso di soggiorno yet, he's still allowed to have that. That's still allowed to have that coverage. So
Because I'm married to an Italian citizen, that doesn't apply if you're moving here on an ERV or
the ERV is
it's
different.
completely
It's
different.
different, or a nomad
Yeah, digital
visa,
nomad or whatever.
visa. Yeah.
You need to have the visa first, I
Yeah.
believe,
But
before you can
I
get
think
your
that if you
tessera.
look into it, and if you're working with a lawyer, they
Yeah,
can advise
absolutely.
you whether
Yeah.
you can get a codice
Yeah.
fiscale or
Oh.
a tessera sanitaria. That's that. Now on the wrong
All right,
things,
things we think we did wrong or that we would have done differently.
pots and pans, don't forget.
Yeah, no. Okay, so I shipped over my pots and pans because I had just bought some Hexclad pans, and I'm not selling Hexclad pans, but they are awesome. So, and I got they were such a good special on them that this like $1,000 set was like $300. So I grabbed it, and I fell in love with these pans right away because they're great. They really are. And I decided to ship them over here, which probably cost me another 80, $90 to ship all of them. I think it's well worth it. I don't think that's wrong. What we didn't do, the mistake we made, was we sold all of our towels, our bath towels, hand towels, washcloths, all of that. In the United States, it's really easy to get thick, plush, thirsty bath towels. Here, I still haven't found them. Like,
Yeah,
seriously.
well, we're trying.
I'm looking. I've got I've got the big bath sheets. We found those, but they're still pretty skimpy. And going online and looking, I can have them shipped from the United States, but it's expensive because
Yeah.
you got to pay the VAT on it and the shipping and all of that. So
Well,
you end up paying like for a set of 6 towels, you spend like 700,
yeah, I
700
mean,
euros. It's
I did
crazy.
some research. There are some companies here in Italy that make those 600 to 700 grams
Yeah.
towels. So when we're ready, we'll
Well,
order
yeah,
them.
we will.
They're not that expensive.
But it's not as easy as stopping
Right.
at your local Walmart or Macy's or
And just
whatever
grabbing
and just
them.
grabbing them. You can't do that.
We're just trying to find towels that our guests will enjoy having,
Right.
because you don't want like flimsy towels.
No, you don't want to dry your hair and then start,
Yeah.
and your towel's sopping wet. And you're like, geez, really?
Yeah. But back to the pots and pans, yeah, he had a great deal and everything, but there's great pots and pans here too.
Yeah, lots of
Induction
Italian made
is
induction.
all over the place.
Yeah.
So
and they're
if-
not that expensive.
So if you want induction, you can have induction pans and all of that. So
the thing I'm glad I brought though, in terms of kitchen stuff, I'm glad I brought my potato masher because I couldn't find one. I found we bought a ricer. We bought a potato ricer.
Yeah.
Not the same. You need a potato masher. And the other thing is I brought both the peelers. And the peelers you get in the States, have the handle with the I'll put a picture of one up with the regular peeler on it, and and you can peel. I can't find them here at all. You get the big clumsy potato peeler, which we bought one.
Yeah.
But I'm glad I brought those. All right. Other thing we did that we would have done differently.
Well, for you,
for me
anyway.
in particular. So if you take a medication that is prescribed by a specialist, and you're going to move here, you need to talk to your doctor about getting a year's supply of that medication at a minimum. You cannot fill a U.S. prescription in Italy, so keep that in mind. Doctors won't do it. And you have to see the specialist here to get that medicine, even if you pay for it. The specialists are hard to come by.
Right. Well, the appointments are hard to come
The appointments
by.
are hard to come by.
Yeah.
So keep that in mind. If you're going to move here, talk to your doctor and say, hey, show them this video. I'll tell them, like, Praluent. I'm on Praluent. I got a 6-month supply thinking that would be enough. I'm going to run out in a month. And
Well, we have
we
the doctor's
may
appointment.
have it set with a paid appointment coming up this week.
Yeah.
We'll see. Again. We've gone through this before.
Yeah.
You saw in some of our other videos. The cardiologist. I thought he could prescribe it. He doesn't
Right.
prescribe it. So it's an internist here for this particular medicine. So we have to do that. But
Okay.
talk to your doctor. Get a year's
Yeah.
supply of medicine if possible, and bring it with
Yeah.
you.
So how it works here is you can go the private way or you could do the national health way. Because Randy didn't have a tessera sanitaria, he didn't have this health card yet, we went to a general physician, his primary care physician, who speaks English, and that's the first appointment that we did. He explained to him everything, all of his issues, what the medication and everything. So then that primary care doctor issues appointments for all your specialists through the National Care Health System. So, healthcare system. So what you have to do is go online or go to the pharmacy and see what appointment is available. Sometimes the appointments are not open. He's not a citizen yet. He doesn't have a permiso, so he cannot be put on a waiting list. So it's taking a little bit time. So we decided to go the private, which isn't expensive at all for the specialized visits. I mean,
130 euros, 100 euros.
130, 120.
Yeah.
That's okay, just to get him going, get him started.
Get you in the system.
Yeah, we've seen the cardiologist now. We've seen the
the endocrinologist.
Sorry, and we're going to see this other doctor on Thursday.
Yeah.
So that's one way you can do it. But once you're in the national healthcare system, that's the drawback. That's the setback, is waiting for the appointments, and that takes a long time.
It does. It takes a while.
So that's the only
all right
drawback there.
The other thing that we would have done differently, and we did try. Well, I want to cover two things on this point. Okay, real quick. The thing we did, we were looking for rentals because we needed to obviously have a rental to stay in. It's suggested by a lot of people that you stay in an area for a year, rent a house for at least a year, and then buy something, or buy it in the meantime, because it takes a while to buy the house. We did that sort of kind of. The rental properties are very difficult to ascertain over the internet. I'm just gonna say that.
Yeah.
We got lucky. It was a friend of a friend, and that's what did it. Because when we were here, there was even on our visits, nothing to rent. That you can't find anything listed, and it's typically as friend of a friend.
For long term, anyway.
That's not really even long term, because the rentals here in Italy are usually 3 years.
Yeah.
So it's a short term rental if it's a year. If it's under 3 years when they see it. So. Plenty of Airbnbs, things like that, but not all of them take dogs,
expensive.
And it can get very expensive. So again, I would utilize either a company that helps you assist with moving and that may have these rentals available, or know people that do. Or during your visits here, when you're making friends, talk to them and say, "Hey, do you know anybody that has a house they would rent to me for a year if you have dogs or whatever?" Going back to the other topic I wanted to touch on, when you're looking at these houses to buy, and you're on the realtor website, and you're checking it out and you're falling in love with them, keep in mind that those pictures are lying to you a majority of the time, and I mean it blatantly. Like, they are blatantly lying. They are cutting out a lot of the neglect and the wear and tear and the damage. And
look, sometimes you get the high tension wires right outside the door. They don't take a picture of that. So,
they don't. So
it is kind of misleading.
So you get online, you fall in love with a house, you fly here, you look at it, and you're like, what the heck? That's not what was pictured.
So
just be aware of that.
The house we're purchasing, I had been looking at it for like a year, and I went on Google Earth. I was trying to see exactly where it's at. I was doing, street views to see if there was any high tension wires or anything.
Right.
And then when we decided to go drive by it, all right, whatever, it seems okay. But once we actually went in and we saw the property on the back of the house and the views, and and the fact that this house, out of all the houses that we see, needed very little work, as far as aesthetics.
Right.
What we're doing, the remodeling, is because we want to add bathrooms and all of that, which we're used to having a couple of
Right.
bathrooms in each apartment. You can't just have one bathroom. So anyway, but it's you have to really see them in person,
Yeah,
or
absolutely.
if you have a trusted realtor here in Italy, you can do a walkthrough, video walkthrough, but like as you're talking to him, so show me this, show me that, show me the corners, let me see if there's any cracks, or things like that. So make sure
Yeah.
you do that.
Be
That's-
skeptical about what you're seeing
Yeah,
on the internet in
yeah.
terms of the houses in particular.
Yeah.
All right. The final thing, and we kind of touched on this early, when you get here and you apply, when you move here, immediately apply for your permesso di soggiorno.
Yeah.
Okay. You have 90 days on your tourist visa to be here, but you go to the post office, you get that permesso packet, you fill it out, you go back to the post office, you turn it into them, they make your appointment. For us here in Umbria, that appointment time was 7 months later. So fortunately, we did this in October, at the end of October when I got here, beginning of November, and we got an appointment in mid May. Keep that in mind. You can still remain here while you're waiting for the
because
appointment.
you have that appointment.
But what you can't do is go anywhere outside of Italy other than back to like the United States, for example. You'd have to fly from Italy to the United States back to Italy. You can't go to France or England or Germany or anywhere else, anywhere in the Schengen zone.
Right.
There are some exceptions to that. If you're married to an Italian citizen and they're with you, you can do that. But it's just one of those things that you may not have known. When I was researching the permesso, it said it takes 3 to 4 months. They were 3 to 4 months behind. Not true here.
No, it depends on where you are.
Again, it varies by region, I'm sure. Some regions may be 3 months, and some may be a year or 18 months. It just depends on their load. What they've got
I don't
coming
have
in.
any stats on that, but I'm sure there's a lot of people wanting to move to Italy.
Sure.
With the €1 homes and all
Right.
of this and that and the other. So it's probably picked up a lot, like a lot of the requests. So they're kind of slow.
Yeah.
I don't know if it would have been different in a different district, like in Terni, but Perugia is like that.
Right.
Florence probably is overwhelmed, even worse.
Right.
Pisa or whatever, it's probably like all Tuscany probably is really.
I know. If you're in Tuscany and you're watching our video,
let us know.
Let us know so we'll share that information.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Anyway,
I think that's it.
That's it. Yeah. I mean, other than that, happy to be here.
Yeah.
The food is good. The weather's been great. I love the trail cam stuff. I hope you guys are watching the trail cam footage. We got a new animal the other day, badger, and so I'm excited about that because I'm like, there's a badger here. We'll see what we get on the olive farm. Probably not the same animals, but you never know. You never know what's back there. Anyway, hope you enjoy. We'll see you next Sunday.
Have a great Sunday.
Have a great day.
Ciao.
Ciao.